Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back, one and all. It is time for day 2 of the North American APL. That's the Auzom Premier League for all of you New Jacks out there. Grand final. My name's Toppies. I'm joined by Cameron Davis and, of course, our eye in the skyline as we get settled in for game 1 of 4 to determine who takes home the bragging rights in APL Season 2. FlyQuest in the lead with 795 points. Totality nipping at the heels with 661. Gates at 646, and everyone else pretty close from there. Cameron, what are you looking for?
I mean, you say nipping at the heels with FlyQuest. That's a pretty sizable gap after 4 games, especially considering where they came from in 15th to overtake Totality's first place starting spot. So, that really is the storyline. It was a storyline basically by the end of the series yesterday. It's something that I'm going to continue to be looking at, as well as I know Esquire and Dave are as well, just about how FlyQuest came up and had a monster day yesterday. Are they going to continue the same thing, or Totality going to recorrect their mistakes?
I mean, Totality has been on a tear lately. We saw them do great in the Stream Me finals and really just come down to the very end, almost uncatchable in terms of first or second place. So I look to see them continue to perform well. It's been a lot to see under the leadership of Taro. They seem to have really blossomed in a lot of ways, and or him on that team has really led them to a lot of great positions. FlyQuest, though, I think is really thriving in this tournament, and over the long haul of the entire sort of grouping of APL has impressed me. So I'm looking forward to see, like you said, what they bring. Now, I do want to mention, Esquire said that we should keep our eyes on Cloud9. Let's talk a little bit about what happened last night.
I mean, there's not much to say. They just got punished in rotations basically every single game. And let me just double check those scores that they had, but they ended in 15, 12, 16. They are in 16th place, unsurprisingly, with those numbers. They have less than half the points of 15th place. So that is by far the probably worst performance of any single team in any single event that we've seen in a while. So, I mean, on the upside is that there's nowhere else to go but up. Right now, though.
Speaking of up, though, let's jump over to where we see Maluk facing off against Tony V. Dre has gone down, so Tony V got the drop on him, lands a couple of shots. Not too bad if Tony V can get this. Would love to start with a double kill right out of the gate, but most teams don't push into tempo like this. Purdy coming in to help. Zampa's on the sprint as well. They're about to see each other. Zampa should spot Purdy if he's swiveling. He gets to cover. I don't think either of them sees each other. They're both zoned in on helping their friends, and neither sees the other guy wide out in the open. Purdy going for Maluk.
He gets no shots, but he does finally get spotted in return. I think it was Zampa that landed a couple of him. Yeah, so now they're in their own isolated fight.
1v1 versus a 1v1, and Dre hoping to get himself back up. Maluk on the lean. Dre has gone down, by the way. Tony V outside, takes a shot from the first blast of the double barrel. Gives Maluk plenty of time to reload. He can try to find a safe spot here. Goes for the peek and doesn't get it. He goes down, and now it's just Zampa trying to represent the guys from Tempo. He's going to just bounce, but Taro is actually coming in a car right now, so Zampa could give up his life as well. This would be devastating for Tempo Storm. Zampa is going to start looking for that spray down. Taro is just over the hill, but he's going to get pushed from behind here.
Yeah, he's really pinched in right now. Not a lot he can do unless he can get this drop onto Taro. That's not the case. He does turn around and gets one onto Purdy. Taro's coming out for the repeat. Zampa is going to get the shot on that. He knows there's more pushing from above. That's going to be Tony V. Lands a couple of initial shots onto him. Forces him down into the prone. He's going to go for the first aid kit right now, but he hears the footsteps of Taro. Cannot stick with that just yet. Lost the helmet. Having to hold multiple angles at once. Oh, it is going to be Taro who gets the final shotgun blast onto that. And so I believe that's Tempo Storm out first, out so early in this first round.
You know what? Tempo is not used to having people drop their spread. It's just something that hasn't been done a lot, and you can see that it's been happening more often. Cloud9 has started to sort of work that bottom grouping, now south of Pachinki. Looks like we've got the guys from Render have started to push into the lower side of the Gaka spread, and now Totality is right in on top of them. And I don't know what their answer is. Tempo has played this spread for a long time. Is it something where you just have to keep fighting for it, or do you think they go somewhere else next time?
I'm looking at where that fight actually happened, and it looks like Tempo hot dropped onto Totality because these two, Tempo Storm have often looted up there, but all of yesterday, Totality were around this area as well. Tempo Storm usually, respected that and stayed a little more south, a little more west, obviously not going so far in to go to Primorsk or into Fairy Pier with those other squads around there.
I mean, we did see that there were 2 on Tony V, so it's possible that they decided to try to push him out of Gatka
Yeah.
by being the aggressors, and it just didn't work out. Sometimes you have to take those risks, and players are going to be doing that. It's the second day of the finals. It's a good time to sort of get yourself out there, try some big moves, and why wait for the later rounds to do it? Adam Dids jumps off the bike. Looks like he is going to do a little bit of scouting around here at the gas station, make sure no one's there as his partner drives by. That's good team play, saying, all right, no one's peeking you. We're good. And then, it's Magigus to come in and do the short range clear.
Yeah, good job bounding there. Not the strongest compound, but it's pretty central for this one. It's pretty close to Severny. They know that they're going to have priority on this northern half of this circle. And Uncivil spots a nice water crate. That's a good pickup.
He's got to have had it already, so we'll go on and take a look at his back maybe and see what he's packing. And that looks like an MK. So I guess the MK14 to go along with that silenced AK as he swims himself back over to the now floating buggy.
No.
Oh, no, sorry, 3-seater. So the 3-seater rolled just a little bit. Can you get it back up? He did it. All right, so he officially has an amphibious vehicle as he gets himself reloaded and set up to head back into the circle. Now, that gas station says not the best spot in the world. What I think they might do is it's not a terrible place to sort of keep an eye on the bridge crossing, see where the circle goes, and then you can sort of advance if you want to the walled houses closer to the bridge. So we'll see where they choose to move to after this. Now, spread out across the map, not a ton of conflict zones. Everyone seems to be pretty comfortably looting. It does look like are they mixed in with somebody there? The colors are the same, so it's a little okay.
They've been sharing this area. Yeah,
okay.
They've been sharing this area with Team Gates a little bit recently. Cloud9 have often been around this area as well. It's been an interesting back and forth over the past couple of days.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a gentleman's agreement they've got going on here. I wonder how long that'll last when each of them is at a point where kills are going to become the game difference in finishing sort of higher in these brackets. So we'll see how that sort of breaks out. Speaking of Cloud9, we'll jump over, see the bike gathering process. 3-seater, less deadly in recent days. So Cloud9 not against grabbing 2 of them and heading north.
Yeah, they've been actually looking at Cloud9's looting spot. I take that back. I think I confused them with another team because yesterday Cloud9 were the sole proprietors of North Georgia Pole. And so it is interesting to see them today divert off of that path. It could be because, as I mentioned earlier, they got punished on rotating in, often coming in late because North Georgia Pole is so isolated, you really have no choice. They could be finding a looting in areas that's a little more central, so they're not necessarily punished in the same way. It's less loot though, so we're gonna have to see how that works out for them. But they're still 4, not out in last place, so at least a step up.
By the way, It's Imagine did rotate down to that little walled compound that we talked about to hold the Yasnaya Bridge, so they will have some guys there locking it in. They also is another team at the gas station taking some shots. So anybody who tries to travel north and cross the Yasnaya Bridge is not only going to have to pay 1, but 2 bridge trolls in order to get themselves across. So that's going to be somewhere that I think most of the teams will have to avoid. That said, Team Gates is sort of locking in the compound next to the Razak Eastern Bridge, which means there's not a lot of ways into this northern path that are safe. And I think that's pretty interesting. We don't always see bridge campers in the game these days.
Yeah, but if we can go back up to the minimap just a second, you can see how interesting this may make rotations. Because if you pull out more, you can see how many people still have to get inside the zone. We got a couple in the military base. We have a couple down in the southwest specifically. And already in this circle, most teams are still on the southern side of this first circle. Only 2 squads on north of that river. And so even though it's a first circle, it's still pretty early on. And so the size of the zone is pretty big. It may get a little tighter around that because everyone is staying on the southern side, and those bridge camps to get to the northern side could become impactful.
I think teams have really started to embrace the value of these sort of early game kills potential.
Yeah.
Getting, racking up those points on these sort of bridge transfers, cash flow when they least expect it. And we've seen more and more of these strategies, grabbing houses that allow you to get people in transition. So I like this little they're not grabbing a combo, they're grabbing a little feature as well as the Alamo. Rift is down. I'm not sure how he dropped. That looks like a bike accident.
Yeah.
It looks like a bike accident if you ask me. That's the worst part about the bike accident is that you have to sit there like in your bowed position, hoping that a friend will come save you. And it's like this depressing, like, what'd you do, man? Oh, isn't it you? How'd you do that? You must have barrel rolled.
I guess.
Pull the Star Fox. If you pressed F, that's even more depressing. All right. Meanwhile, Nova, Nerf Me Please, playing the scout role, takes a bunch of shots as they try to move into position. That spot where Render Esports is one of those. It's just such a popular location. E United loves it over there too. Little bit of a tiny crater. If you guys haven't seen it before, go explore your next pub game. It's really easy to sort of get cover from all sides, but any car that transitions out of that Milto Ridge area has to utilize that sort of funnel past it, and a lot of kills can be had because of the way that the landscape is laid out.
Looks like they have sights on something better, even greener pastures, and it's not just this hut. It's not just this hut.
Yep.
They also landed at the trailer park compound to the northeast of it as well, southwest of the warehouse. So that's actually a pretty good compound. It's closer to the center as well. And so if it's free, I definitely see why a team would want to take that over that crater corner spot.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's been there, but it's not been long, or is it? He holds the second floor of the building. That's terrible. Anyway, okay. So he holds that. It is a good complex. The problem I have is on the really sort of extreme edge. So you're going to have to move at some point. It doesn't seem like it's really that strategically viable right now. Speaking of Shururu, Shuru, I always struggle with that one. Gets a couple of nice shots here, 4 set to destroy as he's going up against Nova, but all of Nova turns and faces, so he's got to duck back into cover, but Landoon is also land down as Riam from the other side is taking a ton of work. United over at the noob compound is proving maybe it's not just for noobs, as Nova is just getting lit up from 2 different sides.
Yeah, Nova apparently didn't do their due diligence on scouting out ahead because they tried to get to this hill but ended up getting themselves caught between, I'm not going to say 2 squads because it's a squad and then 1 individual player. But nonetheless, it puts a lot of pressure on them. It took out a player, so they're only down to 3, was able to get the revive on their 4th. But now they have to continue to move out. But that's fine because they'd have to move anyway because this next circle is going to be north-northwest. Yeah,
the guys from Shoot to Kill, very happy. They've got 2 high-value compounds that could allow them spray downs as teams try to crash into them, as well as bridge cover. In fact, the first team to do so will be Team Envy as they come in. Immediately, the brakes are hit. Check Shooter says, abort, and they turn and just drive away. Caden manages to get out of the open fire, maybe a little bit too soon. That scout was able to get everyone out of harm's way. That said, though, Envy now knows they don't have a lot of options. Team Gates also headed in that general direction, so Envy and Gates will probably see each other, if not now, then on the next rotation. So good grab. I love that spot. And now VTV going to come buzzing by for set to destroy. Motorcycle, one of those things, sometimes it's not even worth spending the bullets to try to burn them off of.
I don't know. I'd like to scare him off. I like to at least try and give him a heart attack.
Yeah, well, you got to give him a scare, but I'm saying, like, I don't know if I'd spend all 30 bullets unless, you've got your sensitivity insanely high.
Oh, no. When I'm shooting cars, especially a bike, I usually go tap fire.
All right, so let's see. Elusive Cloud9 is going to go ahead and grab the compounds to the south of Yasnaya Lake, but they're going to get shot by the guys from Nova who made it up here. Nerf Me Please going to play the lead role up there on the rocks. Sees them still coming, jumps back to cover because he hears Nova coming in from the opposite side. I'm sorry, obviously it's part of his team. Coming in to support him is Richie. He turns around, checks on the car, and now they have a pretty good spot. I don't know that C9... This is a tough spot for them. It's hard to get out of where they are.
It is, but even harder now is for FlyQuest because they just lost. Blue's going to continue on his trek and find a lot of areas you can choose from on this northern side because, again, 2 northern swings means that most people are going to be on the south side. But can the rest of his team make it through? This is actually Lush from Core 4. He's going to find this tower right next to a couple members of Shoot to Kill. Oftentimes, you can see a split between that compound and that tower, but because they're employing a wider split between that compound and the gas station, that tower is now free for Lush to take. The question is, how is that going to play into the rest of this game? Because it's central, and he has his squad close by.
Right.
Which means that either of these squads, if it's played out correctly, could actually kind of hit each other.
We'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, let's check in with the guys from Set to Destroy as they are pulled up just outside of Razak. And one of my favorite compounds, gives you some bridge cover, a lot of wall space, and some roof access. So really everything you want real estate to offer you. And I don't want to say it's definitely not in the middle, but it's definitely not in a terrible spot. Yeah. Wildcard Gaming ain't going to drive right on by, come here to take the hill. They're going to lock themselves into the Harry Potter Tower. Another spot that's not too tough to hold, but can be very exposed when the circle closes. Going up and over that mountain without any vision can put you in a world of trouble, especially if a team like Gates is just sitting there waiting for you. Now, that is another box that dropped out in the fields out by Yasnaya. It's going to be another MK. So, wow, it's 2 MKs in this game. It seems like when it rains, it pours when it comes to boxes. Oh, Cloud9 looks like they might be making their push. So Moody's out in front. We've got the guys from Render Esports pulling up on the rocks. Nova has vacated. Mr. Blown Apart, I don't think he knows how close Moody actually is. So Moody made that push. Blown Apart takes a lot of damage. I think a shot from the houses. So they're going to be watching in that direction, and he's going to be a very easy kill if they can just spot him real quick.
A nice flash as they pop over and look, but Blown Apart is hidden behind the rocks, going down, trying to heal up. Binlong goes for a couple of shots, lands a few of them, takes a few in return as well, and that's going to put him into a healing phase as well. Blown Apart pulling out the nade.
Oh, look at the flank.
Enough to force Cloud9 back. It does get a nice knock.
And look at the flank. Blackfin is off to the far angle. They're going to be able to open up fire without any cover whatsoever. Elusive is going to go down. Mr. Blown Apart calling out to Blackfin and the other two guys saying, listen, now's the time to push. We've got them knocked and hurt. They'll be able to use that off angle to really get some good shots. And Cloud9 goes from a really great sneaky engagement start to a really exposed position. Solid FPS comes out into the open, goes for the one-on-one spray down. Binlong wins it just barely, and now it's just Frolicker, the solo hope for Cloud9, trying to rise above. Binlong takes the time to heal, and the push forward is about to come underway. So Binlong up on top of the rocks, looks around, knows his opponent has to be here somewhere. Mr. Blown Apart crawling low to try and survive. There's the spray. It doesn't work. Binlong goes down, so nice play by Frolicker to stay alive. Dash 32 trying to run as fast as he can, get in there and cause some trouble. No one from C9 can get picked up, so it's still Frolicker by himself as he scampers to safety, trying to find a better position in a relocation. Dash 32 comes over the hill, opens fire on Frolicker. Frolicker still very low on health, gets behind a tree, and now it's a tree battle. Frolicker back towards the water, may decide just to jump on in.
Yeah, definitely the best play to go right now. And he is going to make that one, trying to stay safe. They tried to go for that engagement. Not only was it that nade that turned it around for, where's my numbers? For Render Esports, is also the fact that they had those two players come up from the side angle. Cloud9 weren't prepared. I guess they thought that everyone from that squad was in that one small area, and if that were the case, they actually would have had a lot better of a shot, but they end up overextending into a fight that quickly turned the other way. Render Esports, I think, are going to be able to res all of their teammates to stay as 4, and Cloud9 is just Frolicker.
All right, so let's see what else we've got going on right now. The spread is there. Adam Dids and the boys still doing their little split. We got the guys from the God Squad gonna still stuck in Rozhok with Wildcard playing a bit of a gatekeeper role. United locked into a decent compound at the yellow houses. What else are we looking at here? It seems like everybody's just sort of taking the time, feeling out their opponents. A lot of teams not having to make big transitions here. Really, I think it's going to come down to the God Squad having to make probably the hardest transition out of the remaining teams.
Well, outside of Frolicker.
That's true. Well, he could swim in, I think, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's only a couple of teams that weren't in this next circle. The circle actually favored a lot of the teams inside it, but these guys particularly, it is going to be quite rough because they're going to have to go across those bridges. I don't know how many of them are camped for now, and it looks like they're going to be swinging along the west side. I think, no, they're just going to go for the bridge to the north of them. Good decision if they were able to spot out that it was actually clear, and I believe that is going to be the case. The problem is if they keep going from that angle, no, it's actually not.
What does it really mean
going directly into set to destroy? Yeah, exactly. Set to destroy is on this hill, ready to camp it, and the shots are immediately going down on these vehicles.
Oh, they are set to. Yeah, I mean, so Finaldo's going to open fire immediately. You already see Pistola taking a lot of damage. They have to park behind the rock. They do get to cover. Smoke's going to come out maybe to buy him some space from Wildcard. Prodigy, I'm sorry, is the one that took the damage there. He's going to have time to heal though. So you know what? They made the circle. They have some cover. They do have to worry about the potential nade here because they don't have a lot of places they can sort of hide out. So if they've got enough nades on the side of set to destroy, they can take them down. The saving grace right now for these guys is the fact that Wildcard's behind them, forcing set to destroy to a downhill push instead of a very easy 4-man uphill flank. So that could potentially have a big impact on God Squad's ability to defend themselves here. But look at that. With the uphill, even with Wildcard taking pot shots at him, Fignaldo and Shu just are in such a superior position that if anybody from God Squad peaks, they can just take their helmets right off.
Thing is, when the next circle closes and both these teams have to rotate, they're both gonna have to rotate. But VTV looks like it wants to go to with the fight before that is the case. Trying to spot someone peeking out onto him, but look at God Squad. They're actually pushing up the ridge, at least marginally. And Drassel's running around the side to grab a second angle. This could be huge if he spots out V or any other members from set to destroy. He gets a couple of sightlines onto them, lets a couple of shots out, does get it down, and this could be the opening to perhaps force set to destroy away or even get the full take on them.
Drassel doing a pretty good job there with a nice spray. I'm going to try to get out to Pat Caps to get him back up as he took some damage. Wildcard not too involved with this fight. It's just a 4v4, and Wildcard watching out. Up there they are. So they're taking some shots. The shoe actually is still down, trying to crawl to safety, but Wildcard trying to steal the kill right now as he makes that crawl. And it looks like they may just try to back off. I think Set to Destroy it got a little more than they bargained for in this fight.
Yeah, a little bit. They weren't expecting Drassel on that flank, and now they're having to throw out the smokes. They got their res up, but they are going to have to retreat somewhere, but there's not that many places that are really great to defend. The upside is that they ended up taking out one of God Squad's vehicles, which is really bad for them, because look at where they all have to travel. They're all going to have to hop into one vehicle, and they're on the edge. They may drive through more squads, likely drive through more squads. But here comes Nova, also doing the same. A nice nade, not exactly going to hit, but it is going to put pressure onto Nova.
Nova wants that compound. Hard spot to get there. You got people coming in. Lots of folks want to be there, it looks like. That seems Core 4 is going to drive on by as we see Nerf Me Please still taking shots down at that spot. It's good strategic positions, got walls on all sides, but it's hard to break E United out of there. Meanwhile, there's the push. We got Team Gates inside or trying to get to the gas station. CeeLo is down. Mossy is hurting, and the guys who are left here from Shoot to Kill, there's 3 of them on hand, are putting in some serious work. Smoke's going to go out so they can try to get a couple of reses up. Meanwhile, Wildcard will come from the opposite side and start to light them up. So while Shoot to Kill was in a great position initially, again, the Wildcard pinch puts them out of their sort of comfortable spot. They had dominance, and now they don't anymore.
Exactly. A bit of a tricky spot. Looking at a couple more of these rotations come around. God Squad, they're actually, so they're doing an interesting thing down at the south, 1 on foot, a couple on land. A lot of deaths, so Proximus Blackfin does get taken out. Here comes Walker. They're pushing in onto Shoot to Kill. I think there's 3 of them in this single building. Tomai out in the open. He does actually get a spray on before he is then traded and fully wiped out, but he does have the 3 remaining teammates on his back to try and continue the push in. A little bit of an overextension on this part, you have to say, but Wildcard, they're in a bit of a quite bit of pressure right now, though, because if they don't go in and push in on this compound, they're gonna get breached from behind by God Squad.
Absolutely. Sharpshot HD going to use that UAZ for some cover, but he's got lots of people coming up behind him. It looks like Pat Caps is about to crest the hill. Can he take them down? He knows the Wildcard's out in front. They've been in a running go. He gets the 2 shots, tap, baby, and Sharp Shot goes down to make it 3. Nice play by Pat Caps. God Squad definitely coming off that rock and feeling strong. Dash 32, though, doing anything but dashing. We're going to change his name to Crawls 32. And that's about the space he'll move in a minute. So 32 meters per minute as he crawls across the map and tries to stay in this game, using God Squad for cover as he pushes forward.
He has his teammate Binlong also coming up from the side. So at least have someone inside the zone right now with the rock to hide behind. So it's not all on Dash. The pressure isn't all on him. And he can use God Squad to kind of bound in, but look at this. I think Wildcard have been taken out, and 4 members of God Squad are still alive. Prodigy hopping into the vehicle to continue the push in. They should be aware that Shoot to Kill is still in this gas station. And so they're going to continue the breach that was opened up by Wildcard. Such a fast breach, though. Prodigy does get taken out.
Ballsy Prodigy. So Prodigy goes ham, ends up going down. His teammate not really in a position to save them right now. That'll be God Squad. BTV right over on the Dacia. Binlong with the peek, gets the knockdown. Has to go to heal, gets a little bit of cover from the back from Set to Destroy as he puts a little bit of work in. So guys, if you're watching, 11 is Shoot to Kill. Set to Destroy is 14. God Squad is now losing Pat Caps as they are 9, so you can sort of keep up with the teams that we're seeing in this fight right now. Now the guys inside of the gas station we're in such a great spot and now are just so outnumbered. They have 4 teams essentially involved with this fight.
The problem with this compound is the inability to control angles, and the way that the circle has swung, it forced a lot of squads into this one single spot on the map. And that inability to control those angles has basically led to this, where there's just uncivils up. But God Squad are getting actually torn apart as well because of it. So they have been able to defend, helped out by Binlong, the solo player on the side, kind of chiming in, third-partying this a little bit.
And Set to Destroy is just let it happen. They're not pushing. They're not being overly aggressive. They're like, okay, if you guys want to fight the rest of the map, we're just going to hang out down here by our trees, a little bit of smoke. VTV sort of playing that defensive position where everybody else heads down into the grotto. V going to join them now as he's seen sort of fighting die down around that gas station. Only 2 members left from Shoot to Kill after that debacle comes to a head. Totality up north, the leaders in the tournament right now, going to have to move into the circle, and they've got some players in between them. Inside of the shack, is going to be Core 4. The remainder, they got into this tournament 4 points ahead of Ghost Gaming and have been putting up one hell of a show since they did that, looking to continue that with stopping the #1 ranked team in the tournament.
Ooh, Fatality, though, trying to get their own way into the zone is going to be a little difficult. You can see just how many squads have open shots on them. And it isn't just these 2 players from Core 4. They got shots coming their direction from the southeast and maybe even the west, though. That could just be imagining things on the minimap. Tony V, though, he's just going to hop in the vehicle, try and find a way to the circle, and hope that the rest are able somehow to find him. But there's no real way to strategically get their way in. It's just all got to be one by one individually, hoping that they don't get taken out. Kaisko, though, he does get taken out, and that's him. His team.
That's how you die in style. So he jumped up, did a nice little cartwheel, fell to his death. Meanwhile, still trying to make their transition, Protege came out of the gas station, was immediately sprayed down, and now Uncivils doesn't have any options. Every single exit angle is covered by somebody right now. So that's why they did the car push. Nothing happened from it. EU still inside their compound, now decides to try to push in. Not a lot of cover out in front of them. L2P Lush trying to make them suffer, but he ends up going down far out of the zone as well, so he'll end up dying. Core 4 in a really tough position as the blue closes in on top of them.
Yeah, Totality at least had vehicles to try and bomb their way into the circle. Core 4 have nothing, just an open run over an open field. Thankfully to them, at least, United, they got to make their own way in right now because the circle has finally clinched in onto their position. But it's still easy angles up to that last remaining player into the north. United still 4, well, I say that, down to 3 guys because get taken out by the play zone, as is Nitrogen. No, so they must have someone else inside the circle. That's Teflon down in the southeast.
Sneaky Teflon, nothing sticks to that guy, but the question is, how long can he stick around? All right, so here's the thing about that crate drop, right? That crate drop's not necessarily a loot drop right now. What it is potential cover depending on where this circle goes, and that's insanely needed. That area right there has nothing. So the fact that they just gave an artificial rock to help push into that circle could be huge for Nova or United, whoever wins this little running duos battle that we'll see develop over there. Meanwhile, down on the south of the circle, the guys from Set to Destroy, who had nothing but a little grotto of trees, are probably feeling pretty good about this. They sent 2 runners to the south to try to clear out the remainder of FlyQ, as well as Uncivils, and if they can do that, they control this entire side of the circle.
Yeah, Pender's low right now from Duel, taking out some vehicles. This will make transitions even harder for them from the southeast. Rift does go down, though.
Yeah, Rift goes down. It looked like they pushed forwards because Blue got involved. He finished off on Civils, and then Blue over on the side took him out. So they'll go back and try to get that res, and now they do know, I believe, about FlyQ's remaining members sort of hanging out in the Snake Posse. Totality gets a big grenade tossed at it. The bounce will go up over the rock, but not quite far enough. Purdy runs backwards. Had the bounce been a couple of meters more, it might have been the end of Purdy. So a nice little shot with that nade. And I love the spot. Totality's got this really good berm in front of them that they will have inside the circle. And then they built a car fort to their left side so that anybody pushing from that area has a hard time getting clean shots and they can fight against them. Another car fort being built over here by Duel as they set themselves up. Another big nade coming out, looking for the Kobe's, but not quite with the range. Kobe's like beef. Anyway, not quite with the range as they seem to be a little bit short on those jump tosses. Vexel inside the circle. We're going to have Space Station Gaming holding it down. Nova in a shack just outside, and it seems like this is going to be their plan to hold up, let EU force them to push, basically, then try to take them out as they run, and then maybe, I don't know where you move. There's no cover there. Between the box and the trees, there's literally nothing but death. Grassy, green death.
Yeah, it's actually pretty bad if you're not one of the squads here already inside the zone. In fact, Totality, they have a good spot, but I think it is just barely in. So they're kind of working pots and pans. Smithy, though, the nice angle onto that shack, does land a couple of shots, doesn't get it down. Tony V, though, does take out Jimmer during that peek out. So United still under a lot of pressure.
That was a good shot. All right, so it's a nice shot. Smithy just playing them down there. Not much Nova can do. They've got United, but at what cost? They're just going to have to make a run and probably give their lives here on the transition. So Locknarb thinks he's going to come out to the left side, try to advance using the smoke and the box. They are automatically taking the tick. The second he shows, he goes down. Easy kill. Richie, I think, just going to maybe play for position and try to out-heal as long as he can. They know there's no cover. There's no point. All right, look at the bottom of this circle. They did it. We talked about Set to Destroy. If they could eliminate FlyQ and the remainder is Shoot to Kill, this gives their circle 100%. And look at that. They control 50% of it, essentially, which means that they are almost guaranteed to get a circle on the next close unless PlayerUnknown absolutely despises them. Nade's going to come out there, doesn't quite hit Duel, but puts Duel and continues to keep them in their place. And that's all that they want right now is to sort of keep everyone at the fringes so that they have to fight each other when they come in on the next circle.
See where the next circle goes. It actually is going to still be on top of Set to Destroy. And so now they have all the tools that they need to win this game. Nova did go out, and so we only have 4 squads left, but they're pretty stacked squads. I think everyone has at least 3 alive, if not a full 4. So it's going to be some really interesting gunning play in this final couple of minutes of the game. Totality have to move. They got to move up this ridge, and that means that they're going to be open fire from Duel as well as potentially Space Station to their right. But they're going to want to push the Space Station first to take them out. But Space Station already on the jump onto them.
Absolutely. So the push is going to come on, and that's what Set to Destroy wanted. They want to watch everybody else fight it out. As you sort of see that happen, flashbang, you saw it go off. The camera got to see it firsthand. Totality going head-to-head with the guys from Space Station Gaming. Let's do this, says Purdy. Vexel almost out of health, but he's going to push anyway. He knows he has to. Goes for the spray down and gets it. Vexel eliminates Totality with less than 10% of his health. He might even like 3 or 4%. We do see the drop back of Duel. They saw that fight go down. They're not interested in getting involved with it. The problem is Set to Destroy still inside the circle, still with a total advantage, both in numbers as well as position. Nobody can push in on them. They've got the rocks. They've got the spread. Any piece of cover in this circle is essentially occupied right now by one team.
Duel now down to 3. They actually did help out in that fight against Totality. Got a couple of nades and actually got a couple players of Space Station. So Space Station got the revive on 1, but they were only now down to 2. Looks like a player of Duel did also just got taken down by Huyn, I believe. And now, as you said, though, Set to Destroy, they just have to wait for everyone to push into them.
They fight each other.
They got to push through Duel first.
And that's what they know that. So they don't even have to like hard peek. They're doing it so they can make sure they keep control and force them to stay on those rocks and wait it out. But that said, they know someone else is gonna have to push them. Wow, what a nice headshot. But that's because Huyn has the comfort of just sort of holding there for a second. Now he comes out, comes running, and goes down immediately. That's what it comes down to. K-Mine and the guys here, there's 2 players left. They jump into a car and say, maybe we'll drive for safety. Rift goes straight to the off angle and says, oh no! Kills his own man. I don't know if he's trying for the denies right now or what, but yeah, he is. So I think, did he get that deny? Yeah, he did. He denied his own team. So he ran him over and then killed him to keep those points away from the guys from Set to Destroy. But kudos to them. They found the spot, they locked it up, and they played it to the 9.
Yeah, actually a very good game. Very well played by Set to Destroy, because we saw them earlier. We were kind of worried about them because they got locked into that fight, into that crossfire down just north of that Rozog bridge, but they made their way into the circle. They didn't overcommit into third partying, or I guess fourth partying, the fight at the gas station earlier. They basically pushed only when they needed to. They got the information and they held their spot. They cleared it out, the southern side, when they needed to, and then they just held their spot until they won. Very well played by Set to Destroy.
Very well played, an awful lot of fun to watch, and I'm sure it'll be an awful lot of fun to break down. So with that said, we're going to kick it over to the guys at the desk. Before I do, I want to say a big shout out from all of us here on the watching team. I don't know what you call us, the observing team. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by Cameron Davis and, of course, our eye in the sky, Skyline, giving you all the dope shots. That said, let's talk it over to Esquire and Mustache Dave to break it on down.